You probably think becoming better starts when you finally become motivated enough to change. It doesn't. Most of the time, change begins much earlier, when you stop seeing your current behavior as just who you are. Because here's the strange thing about human behavior. You don't simply act according to who you want to become. You often act according to who you believe you already are. Think about it. Someone says, I want to become disciplined. So they create a huge schedule. Wake up early, exercise, read, study, work for hours. For 3 days, everything feels different. Then they miss a morning. One missed day becomes 2. And suddenly the thought appears, I'm just not disciplined. But that sentence is more powerful than it looks. Because now the person isn't describing a behavior. They're describing an identity. And once you believe something is part of who you are, your brain tends to look for evidence that confirms it. That's one reason becoming better can feel so difficult. You're not just trying to change what you do. You're trying to change the story you have about yourself. Imagine 2 students preparing for an important exam. One thinks, I need to study because I have an exam. The other thinks, I'm someone who studies even when I don't feel like it. They might perform the same action today, but psychologically, they're building something very different. The first is completing a task. The second is reinforcing an identity. And this is where real self-improvement begins. Not with becoming perfect. With collecting small pieces of evidence that prove to yourself, I can trust myself. You don't need to completely transform your life tomorrow. You need to make one promise small enough that you can actually keep it. Study for 20 minutes. Read 5 pages. Go for a short walk. Put your phone away while you work. Then do it again tomorrow. And again. Because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're sending a message. This is who I am becoming. But there's another trap. We often expect progress to feel like progress. It doesn't always. Sometimes becoming better feels incredibly boring. Nobody celebrates the evening you chose to study instead of scrolling. Nobody sees the workout you almost skipped but completed anyway. Nobody notices when you stop reacting to every distraction. But those moments matter. Because transformation is usually quiet before it becomes visible. Think about a tree. You don't see it growing every day. You look at it months later and suddenly realize it's taller. Personal growth works in a similar way. The daily change can feel insignificant while you're inside it. That's why you need a different way to measure progress. Don't ask, have I completely changed? Ask, am I slightly better than I was yesterday? And here's something even more important. Stop making your worst day your definition. You will fail sometimes. You'll procrastinate. You'll lose focus. You'll break a habit. You'll have days where the version of you you're trying to become feels very far away. That doesn't erase your progress. The real skill isn't never falling back into old behavior. It's learning how quickly you can return. One bad day doesn't define you. What you do the next day tells you much more. So if you genuinely want to become better, stop waiting for the moment when you suddenly feel like a completely different person. That moment may never come. Instead, start acting like the person you're trying to become, quietly, repeatedly, imperfectly. Because eventually, the habits you repeat become evidence. The evidence becomes confidence. And the confidence changes your identity. You don't become better in one dramatic moment. You become better every time you choose, even in a small way, not to remain exactly who you were. And one day, you'll look back and realize something. You weren't waiting to become a better person. You were becoming one all along.